Hello everybody! Thank you for watching our videos, and we started a new chapter sailing in Panama San Blas Islands, and last time in our first part we showed you the old part of Panama City where the presidential palace is. You saw how it looks, but today we will show you a little bit different place, a few blocks away from our hotel, and we will show you the beautiful drive from Panama City to Linton Bay, Sabanitas, Puerto, Pilon, Marina, Chiquita, and Portobello. Like I said, we are going to show the not tourist place, and you see it right now. We walked just a few blocks from the center where our hotel is, and you see completely different picture, completely different stores, not tourist stores. No, just watch and enjoy what you see. It is really interesting.
Complete chicken dinner with potatoes for $3.
Chicken and potatoes, $3.50. Full chicken.
When Zena and I travel, we like the tourist areas. We like the pretty, sparkly shops and the streets that are nice and clean, and we like those things as much as anybody else. But we also try to see some of the other side of where we're visiting as well. And Panama is, of course, a third world poor country. So we walked outside the Casco Viejo, outside the tourist area where we were staying, to try to get a feel for what the rest of Panama City looks like. This area that you're seeing is not the business district, but it's one of the poorest areas of Panama City, we were told, where people really live and go about their business every day. We kind of had an excuse for going. We were looking for t-shirts. We never really found any because there weren't any tourist shops. There were places where the locals shopped, and that's about it. But it was an interesting walk. We walked probably for 2 or 3 hours through through a very poor area of Panama City, and it's what you see in the third world all over the world, but it had its own Panamanian flavor to it. It was very interesting. At no point did we really feel unsafe. It was at the height of rush hour, and the streets were crowded. People were moving very quickly. Traffic was heavy, but nobody paid us any particular attention, and we certainly didn't feel like we were going to have any difficulties, and we didn't.
Like Ben said, we were looking for t-shirts shop, and we found one t-shirt depot. But you know what? Actually, they don't sell t-shirts here. They put a print, like we understood, print on white or solid color t-shirts, and then probably sell it in the tourist area. And it is in the evening around our hotel. Looks very interesting.
Expensive, big fancy deals, which I do not want. Where do you want to go?
Maybe this way.
We also got out and took a walk at night as well, which we like to do in our travels. We walked in the tourist part of the old section of Panama City, because at night we really didn't feel like we had very much business walking outside the heavily protected area. So where we walked, we saw a fair number of police. Mostly it was locals. Because of COVID, there isn't very much tourism at all. There was practically none to be seen. There were locals out in the tourist area going to restaurants and doing what local people do, I guess, going to and from their jobs, going to restaurants, going into shops and closing up and going home and driving through the area. So we saw what I guess you would call the normal non-touristy life of the tourist area. A lot of things were closed, but a number of things were open and looked like they had very little business, but maybe a little bit. They were trying to stay open, trying to survive. So you would see restaurants like this one that were obviously trying, but look inside and there were very few people inside the restaurant eating. It's like a samovar type thing.
And the phone. Look at the phone. It is working probably. No?
And you can tell a place like this is a very expensive restaurant in terms of what it took to get this thing operating with the furnishings and all of the rest, and it obviously does not have enough people right now to pay the bills.
What is this? It is a strange bike. It is a strange bike.
The original bicycles were that.
And you can look on the streets, as you see here, and there are a few people around, but not really very many. But we continue to walk around to see the sights. Again, this was in the tourist area, and it was a protected area and a quiet area. But nonetheless, it was interesting.
Look at the cat. He's sitting on the top of the car. Hey! It likes there. And you remember in my last video I told you that every year December 1st, in December 1st they turn on Christmas lights, and here in our plaza they tested it. It looks great. We like it.
We have a new law, and it sets up a process for deciding whether or not these people are donating.
Okay, my love. What are our plans for today?
We are meeting someone in about an hour who's going to take us to the boat, which is about 100 kilometers from here, and we're going to go join our boat.
At Linton Bay Marina, right?
Correct.
Yes. Linton Bay Marina is 113 kilometers from Panama City, and there is no bus or train. You have to take a taxi, and we took a taxi of the same company that met us in the airport. It was really convenient. They are very accurate about time, and we are on our way to Linton Bay Marina.
Because of its strategic location at the Panama Canal, and also because of laws that encourage the development of the shipping and financial sectors in Panama City has a bigger, more, I guess, dynamic banking and shipping and commercial sector than a lot of third world cities its size does. And that accounts for all those skyscrapers that you see in the business district. There's the usual contrast, though, just more dramatic maybe in Panama City, between the way the people who have money live and the way the other people in the city live. You can go from scenes like this one of the business district to scenes of real poverty, urban poverty, and very poor housing conditions really quickly. And you do that, you go from that extreme to another extreme, like you see right here as you drive through Panama City on your way out of the city.
The first biggest town on our way to Linton Bay Marina was Sabanitas.
Except for a couple of unusual places like maybe Portobello, the historic town, and maybe some scenes going over the mountains. The countryside in Panama is pretty much like the countryside that you would see in any Latin American country. It's very much like the countryside that I've seen in Belize, Honduras, Costa Rica, and throughout Mexico and in everywhere I've been in Latin America. It's really no different. There's a lot of poverty. There are people who are getting out of poverty, people in the middle class for sure, but there is a lot of poverty in the countryside. Even I'd say it's much more widespread and much more universal in the countryside than it is in the city.
By the way, we noticed here a very unusual way to fix holes on the road. This man brought some stuff in the plastic bags by taxi and put it in the holes, and probably they covered with something. Actually, it was very, very interesting and very strange. You see, he has more of those bags in the taxi cab. On our way we saw many stands where they sell something like bread, coconuts, but this stand impressed me very much. Look at all fruit that they sell here. I think it looks just great for me. And our cab driver told us about a big problem that they have here. And this problem is garbage. In a few kilometers from Sabanitas, we passed a small town, Puerto Pilon, and you can see this garbage problem here very, very well. And like I understood that rich people here put a big, massive fences around their houses, like this one on the right. Looks interesting actually. And you can see the big fence on the left around a few houses as well. And by the way, I liked the buses here. I think they look cool. And again, you see fences, big fences around some houses. Puerto Pilon has a beautiful, beautiful church, Iglesia Católica Sagrada. Look at it. Another little town, Maria Chiquita. If I did not tell you that it is a different town, you would not even recognize that this town looks different than the previous town. Like Ben said, they look alike. I like this town, Portobello. I think it looks different than others. Buildings are painted in different colors and everything looks so cheerful, bright and just nice.
If you're interested in history, one of the real highlights of going to Linton Bay from Panama City and returning is that you pass through the town of Portobello. Now, Portobello is a small place now, and it isn't particularly much to look at when you first go through it, and you might not even notice anything special about it unless you know something of the history of Portobello. But in fact, it's a very old city, having been established before 1600, I think in the late 1590s, by the Spanish, and its importance is because it, along with Veracruz, Mexico, was one of the two places where the Spanish shipped silver from the New World, from Mexico and from Peru, back to Spain. And in particular, the silver from Peru was brought up the Pacific side, was landed at what's now Panama City, and carried overland to Portobello and shipped from there to Spain. Well, because it was a rich city full of silver, it was a target of pirates and of the British during their various wars with Spain. It was captured and burned by the British and by pirates several times, including by the famous pirate Henry Morgan. You can still see fortifications there. But, you know, mostly it's just because you know as you go through it what a historic place, in fact, it was. And it was fought over by pirates and the Spaniards for probably 50 to 75 years, maybe closer to 100 years.
When at home we watched videos about Linton Bay Marina, we noticed and people said that there is a very interesting truck comes to Linton Bay Marina to sell fruit and vegetables. And we saw this truck on our way. Maybe it is the same truck, and maybe it goes to Linton Bay Marina, who knows? And I think you notice how green everything is. Palm trees, other plantations. It is really, really beautiful, really interesting. I liked it so much, and the weather was perfect. Of course, it rains every day. It is tropics. You should remember it. But it is beautiful. And finally, we are at Linton Bay Marina, and next time we will start from here. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you liked our videos. See you in 1 week.